We're good. Oh, wait a minute.
Hello! Says we are live. Don't know what kind of lag we're going to have today because I've not
I'm
been in
watching.
live so far today.
I'm watching.
Oh, I don't think the lag's too bad.
I haven't popped up. We haven't popped up yet.
Oh, we have
Oh,
on mine.
there. Now we've come up on my. Well, let's see. We had my internet malfunction last week. Let's cross our fingers with this nor'easter coming that we get through today without the internet disruption. But I
Because
look
you
good.
look clear so far.
So far, I look okay.
Hi, John Robert. Hello, hello. Hi, Roxanne.
Hello, everyone. Top of the morning to you. And if you live on the East Coast, burr.
Yeah, cold front here. I was so on my shipping. Hey, Kaz. My shipping last week. Man, I had it all done early. I was so proud of myself. But for sourcing, it was a bust. Sourcing last week was a bust for glass. It's a good thing I already had some glass pieces put back because no good glass.
I found some interesting stuff. I did find a Victorian mercury glass candlestick, and I have to admit, I peed a little when I found it because I was like, oh. It's not for sale today because I want to enjoy it for a wee bit, and then I'll put it up for sale. It's also going to be expensive, so
Sometimes
maybe
you
more
have to enjoy the beautiful things for a little bit.
I mean, when else are you going to find, and it's in really good shape, a Victorian mercury glass candlestick holder? It's just not going to happen. So that was my good find. So, but no, John had the good one. I found him like 550 comics that he got a killer deal on.
Nice.
So,
hey, Becky. That's excellent.
Yeah, it was really kind of cool. It was a slow weekend because I didn't think we were getting out because we had snow Friday into Saturday, and it snowed about 9 inches, and about 6 inches of that melted while we were out and about on Saturday because then it got into the 40s, and now we're getting more snow. So I didn't even think I was going to get out. I was lucky to get out.
Yeah, the snow that we've got today is super pretty. Super pretty. That's all I got to say about it.
I'm over it. It is. I was telling Claudia, I was watching her show early this morning. I had my window open and I had to mute her because I couldn't tell if the birds were in her video or were outside my window. And the stupid birds were outside my window in the beginning of a nor'easter. It's like they didn't get the memo.
Yeah, we've got snow on the daffodils over here today.
I know, and I've been watching everybody put up these lovely spring pictures of their flowers, and I'm like, girl, you live east of me. Just get ready. Here comes the snow. It's going to kill those crocuses. Ugh.
We've had colder weather so far in March than we had in February.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It's ludicrous.
So I am not enjoying it. I'm not enjoying it.
No.
It makes me want to just wrap myself up in a blanket and read a book and never leave the house.
Yes.
That's what it does.
I feel like I'm suffering from seasonal depression this year. I really, really do, because I feel so unmotivated. I just want, like, when the nice weather comes and it's sunny outside, and when I say nice weather, I mean like 40 degrees.
Yeah.
I'm very excited and I'm really happy, and then this happens and I'm like,
yeah, it makes me cranky. I'm like, I know. No. We got spoiled with having such a mild winter that now I'm over it. And I just spring.
Yes, spring. And for my poor son.
So today we are answering some of the questions that we got sent, or just talking about something that's come up before. So I got some questions. I am going to start.
Yes, you start.
Since I'm not showing anybody anything, I'm going to leave Nikki there and she can interject when she wants to. So we've talked about this before, but specifically someone wanted to know how to identify Blanco and Empoli that does not have their stickers anymore. So I'm going to go over the things again that apply to all glass. And I want you to keep in mind that even the glass experts sometimes cannot identify what a piece of glass is. Sometimes you just can't, because at one point we had 500 glass companies here in the US alone. So that's not even talking about, the glass companies in other countries that were imported here. That's just here. We had 500 glass companies all making very similar items. Hey, Brenda.
and stealing
Kaz, are you
mold.
talking about my
I know she looks so.
necklace and earrings? Because this was my grandmother's. This set was my grandmother's. So sometimes you're just not going to be able to identify glass at all.
Yeah.
Now, one characteristic of all Blanco that I have found is that it's heavy. Blanco is a heavy glass.
Yeah.
Blanco is still in production. I follow Blanco. Hey, Bonnie, I follow Blanco on Instagram and they show their new glass on Instagram. So you can go follow the Blanco Glass Company on Instagram if you'd like. They're still in production. But their more vintage pieces, I haven't come across any of their newer pieces. Their vintage pieces are just heavy. And they feel kind of like they have a pebbled bottom. Every piece I've ever come across has what feels kind of like a lightly pebbled bottom. They're not smooth. It's super heavy. So that's an identifier for Blanco, kind of.
And weirdly shaped.
Yeah.
They had very free-form things. It's,
But in general, when a piece does not have a sticker and you think it's something, you're going to want to go to your Google Images. You're going to want to take a picture and see if you can find that exact piece with the sticker on it that somebody has posted it sometime on the internet. So there's your first. If you can find a piece just like yours that has a sticker on it, then you know. If you cannot find a sticker piece, then what you are going to want to do is look up old catalog pages. So just type in Blanco catalog pages and start flipping through. Now, I will say that on the Swans, these, practically every company made these. One of these I already had. One of these Tiger gifted me. They look the same, right? They're not the same. When you get up close and you look at the fine details, there are subtle differences. Almost every single company made a version of this swan. So trying to identify these, practically impossible. They're, neither are marked in any way whatsoever. Both have a slight iridescent sheen. Both are blue. Subtle differences. They came from different molds when you look at them up close, but trying to tell what company made them, it's just practically impossible. So, if you cannot find an old catalog page that shows the item that you're looking up, you can check out the Glass Museum websites. So those are the ways that, hey, Kitch, I hope you're doing okay. It's good to see you. So those are the ways for any glass that hopefully you can identify. Now, she also asked about Empoli when I got this question.
And you can also look at some of them have collector sites. Some glass companies have collector
and if
sites.
you're on Facebook, which I'm not, you can absolutely join a Fenton site, a Murano site, Empoli site. They or page. They have all of that. And a lot of times now, always take everything with a grain of salt. Sometimes you're speaking to an expert and sometimes the person has no idea what they're talking about.
Yes.
So you can also join those groups and post pictures and get info that way too.
And if you get a picture that says, and they says like Collectors Weekly or All About Glass, there are reputable sites out there that are real glass identifiers that will have that picture, maybe doesn't have a sticker.
Yeah.
So you can trust them too, usually.
Yeah. And if it's something that you think is expensive and you need confirmation for maybe insurance wise, like if we're talking really expensive glass, you're going to have to pay for an appraiser to come in and say, this is positively this, it is worth this, sign off on it and give it to you. You have to pay. So there's a lot of info out there, but if it is something that you actually need verified, you're going to have to pay. An expert will tell you. So if it's got this stopper, it's Empoli. It's Empoli. So that's the surest way to tell if it's Empoli. But, as we've covered different things, we've discovered little unknown pieces that we didn't know these companies made, and we've given you, demonstrations of them. And sometimes they brought in a glass artist that was totally different than the glass they were producing before, or sometimes they went off and did a line that was completely different. So you can't always just tell by looking at it that it is the thing that you think it is. So I hope that helps.
Yeah.
And
And
then
Napoleon's easy. They had that waffly kind of optical pattern kind of thing too, with their apothecary jars and their big sifters. Usually you see Napoleon, you're like, oh, and it's lighter than Blanco. Way
oh yeah,
lighter than Blanco.
Empoli's way lighter than Blanco.
Yeah.
Yes, and the optic, that is a very
That's another
common
one.
Empoli thing. And the other thing, and I've said this before too, but I learned so much by doing this. Go to your antique stores. If you're traveling, go to an antique store you haven't been in before. Pick up the pieces that have stickers still on them. Hold them. Feel them. Hey, Brenda. Look them over. Get to know them.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be afraid to ask for the key. Look at the piece while the person's standing there and then go, not this time, and put it back. You don't always have to. Also, sometimes just because a piece is locked away does not mean that it is more expensive, because if you saw my recent video, that Bluebird of Happiness I got was $5 and it was in a locked case.
Yep. Yep.
So sometimes it's just cheaper for people to rent the locked case than it is for them to rent a booth. So don't be afraid to look in the locked cases too. I mean, that's what the employees are there for. They're there to open up those cases. So don't be afraid to ask. So then the next question I got was depression glass etched? And it's a two-part answer. So the short answer is no. Depression glass was not etched. But if we're talking about glass made during the Depression era, then yes, some of it was etched. But if we are talking about Depression glass, by definition, the cheaply made, massive output, given away in grocery stores or sold for 5 and 10 cents in your grocery stores, no, that Depression glass was not etched, because etching glass was another level of, it was another step.
It was another step.
If we're talking about elegant glassware that was made during the Depression era, yes, some of that was acid etched, because elegant glassware is defined as glassware that had more than just one step. So I don't know if that helps or not. And then I was asked, how do you tell if something is acid etched? I couldn't find a definitive answer. Cut glass, they're grinding away a portion of the glass. And acid, they pour the acid on and they etch into the glass. So on that one, really, I could not define. Hey, Delbert. So the last thing that I was going to cover before it's Nikki's turn is the difference between satin glass and frosted glass. And here again, we go back to, if you're listing on eBay, they don't give
we'll get to that.
They don't give you the correct options. Nikki's going to talk more about that. But technically, hey, Angela, the edge feels raised almost. So it's another thing where you're going to have to feel it.
Yeah, and sometimes I would imagine that some of that gets worn with time, especially if you're talking a really older piece. You're not going to have the finger feel that maybe you would with a newer piece.
Because some antique glass was acid etched on the bottom, the maker, and that will be completely worn away with time. You won't even be able to see it anymore. So I don't know. Yeah. So all satin glass is technically frosted glass. Hey, John Robert.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did. Yes.
Yep.
Some of the stuff is, but the bigger pieces that are actually meant to sit on like coffee tables and stuff, like their ashtrays or their freeform pieces, they do have that pebbly texture. But I've had an owl before that was very soft, smooth on the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Big ashtrays, especially.
Yeah.
They're going to be super heavy and they're going to have that feel on the bottom. But that's goes back to what I said about
it's not
different
all
artists coming in,
yeah,
different things they tried.
Yeah.
different eras. Was it made in the 1940s versus the 1950s versus the 1960s, where things change? So yeah, really you need to find it in a catalog, or you need to find it with a picture of the same piece with a sticker on it. That's going to
And
be your
there's
best.
never one right answer. That's the biggest thing when it comes to collecting anything, not just glass. There's never one right answer. There's always like, well, it's true in this case, but not true in this case, which is confusing as all get.
Yeah, there's no rules because
Right.
you have to change and go with what people want and what the newest latest thing is. And okay, so satin, all frosted glass is technically, all satin glass is technically frosted glass, but all frosted glass is not satin. It is it's glass that is treated with a hydrofluoric acid or hydrofluoric acid fumes. And satin glass is going to be matte. It is going to feel very smooth. And it has been acid treated to be this, but not all frosted glass will be this smooth. Like sand blasted glass is going to be rough, but it's considered frosted glass. But satin glass is going to be smooth. So everything that I've ever come across in vintage glass, it's satin glass. It's never frosted glass. So I know it gets confusing, especially when you go on eBay, because it's going to be listed as frosted glass.
Yeah.
And technically it's true, it's frosted glass, but it's satin glass because it was purposely treated with the acid to give you this matte, smooth texture. It's going to feel like satin.
Yeah. I feel like that.
So it was first made in the 1880s in both England and the United States. And satin glass can be tricky to take care of, because repeated washing, repeated wear is going to wear off, wear this down, and get you back to the smooth polished glass, because this was an acid treatment, and you can ruin your satin glass just by polishing it, dusting it, washing it too much. Or if a piece sits up against the wall and the house shifts and a bit of it will get bumped against the wall, it's going to wear back to the glossy, regular glass that you can see through. So, yeah, Indiana glass pieces, satin inside and out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely. So that was all I had.
Okay.
And
So
I know sometimes the stuff we tell you makes you more confused.
It does. I know. She's not wrong. So I've been listing a lot on eBay, and I noticed that eBay changed some of their stuff, but not all of the stuff, and they're making it very, very confusing. If you're listing on eBay, or if you're searching on eBay for that particular piece. So, can it wash off? It can wash off. You could. I don't know how much you'd have to scrub it to get the satin off, because I have like 2 or 3 pieces.
It will scrub off if you. Yeah. See this piece right here? See where we've returned to the glossy glass? That's because this probably wasn't wash wear. It was probably bumped up against something. But yeah, if you wash a piece of satin glass often enough, say you took this bowl and you used it every single day to serve your veggies in for the next year, you are going to wash this back smooth again. And it will start, you'll be able to see spots in it where it's clear.
Okay, so if you're looking on eBay or listing on eBay, things can get confusing. They have 2 different categories that they list things in. One is production technique, and one is production style. What the devil is the difference between technique and style? Technique is the practical aspect of a given art. So it's how the glass is made. The style is the manner or the fashion of presenting things. They're kind of close. They really, really are. So under technique on eBay, this is only on eBay, They have things listed in just, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different techniques, and that's it. There are a lot more than 6 different techniques to make glass. So they have fused glass is listed, millefiori is listed, hand blown, lamp work, pottery, and studio crafted. I didn't know that glass could be pottery, but apparently in eBay world it can be. So what is fused glass? This irritates the poo out of me because I'm watching people list, let's say, a piece of depression glass, and under production technique, they're listing it as fused glass. It is not fused glass. So what is fused glass? Fused glass is also known as kiln-formed glass. It's glass that has been warm worked, hot enough to soften and combine several layers of glass. So what they do is they get the cold stack. So they'll get a couple of different layers, cold stack them together, warm them up, and fuse them together so that several different pieces of glass become one piece of glass. This is fused glass. You can see the different colors on it. It is fused together like that. Pressed glass is pressed in a mold. The big thing, it comes down and goes bloop, bloop, and then moves on to the next piece. Bloop, bloop. That's pressed glass. That's not even listed under style technique. So if you're listing on eBay, you have to manually type that in. What a pain in the rumpus room. Okay, so that's the definition of fused glass. Millefiori. This is an example of millefiori right in here. These lovely little things. It technically means million flowers. So they look like and can look like little tiny flowers on a piece. They're very popular in, Murano does them in big, huge open bowls and art glass pieces. They're kind of famous for that. You'll see them in paperweights. That's kind of where they're really popular, where you see them the most. But it is an ornamental glass in which glass rods of different sizes are all stacked together. So it's like taking all your little pens and pencils and stuff, and they'll line them up kind of like this. And then they'll make forms out of them. They cut them into sections and they fuse them together. Once again, it's kind of a fused glass thing. They form patterns, and they're typically embedded and transparent, although not always, because sometimes we get them in cobalt, in glass. So that's the definition for those two pieces. It's just something different. The fused glass thing just drives me bonkers. I really wish they had pressed pressed glass, or pressed molded, or early American pressed glass, which is not listed anywhere in the categories that you can list off for glass. Is EAPG listed, which is annoying. Now,
can I interrupt and answer John Robert?
Yeah, go ahead.
So John Robert,
yes,
frosted glass will also wear down back to clear, because all satin glass is frosted glass. Not all frosted glass is satin glass, but think of it as polishing. So you're not washing it off, but polishing that glass over time, that friction is going to wear that back down. So frosted glass will also wear back down to clear glass. All frosted glass starts out as clear glass, and then it is treated, chemically treated, to make it frosted, to make it satin, and it will polish back to clear glass. So say you've got a frosted glass door on your shower. Eventually, if you worked hard enough at it, you could polish that back to clear glass. So it all started out as clear glass. It can return to, so don't think of it as washing it. Think of it as polishing it.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Over time, as you're washing it, you're polishing it back to clear glass. I hope that makes sense. And none of us like flash glass on Robert. I hope it's bad. Okay, we go back to you. I'm sorry.
No. Okay, so now style. So here are all the things listed under style, and jump in here, guys, if you think any of them shouldn't be listed under style. All right, you tell me what you don't think is style of glass. So there's amethyst, carnival, cobalt, opalescent, stained, Vaseline, crackle, cranberry, cut, stained, elegant, milk glass, ruby, stretch, opaque, and this is where they put pressed glass under style. They listed about 5 colors under style. That should be under colors, in my opinion, not under style. All right, style is, I would include carnival glass, yes. Opalescent, I might give you opalescent and opaque because it is a style of glass. Stained glass, yes, because there's 2 types of stained glass, as we learned a couple weeks ago. There's stained like windows, and then stained, or what we call flash glass, is actually technically stained. Vaseline glass, I'll give you that one. They didn't list Amberina. I thought that was kind of weird. Elegant glass, yes. Milk glass, yes. Pressed glass is more of a technique as opposed to a style. That's what I'm going to say there. So, what is a few of these? Some of these, most people, maybe you guys don't know. Flint glass. Flint glass is one that is kind of interesting. It is a pure lustrous type of glass that originally was made with flint, and it was introduced in the 1670s, around there. It is an optical glass. It was used for a very long time in lenses for glasses. You know, you met back in the day, you get those Coke bottle glasses. Well, that's because they were made real glass, made with flint glass. But in the 18th and 19th century, and this is where it gets weird, any piece of glass that was, as they put it, decolorized, so in other words, clear glass, was referred to as flint glass, even though we now call it clear glass. So that's where some of the confusion with flint glass can come in. Nowadays, most of your collectors are going to want to know if it's really flint glass. And one of the ways to tell is, like I said, it makes beautiful prisms. It's not going to be crystal. Like if you hold a piece of crystal up, you get those little prismy babies going on. It's not going to be, it's going to be like that, where you're going to get these little rainbows in a piece of flint glass. And it's going to be old because they stopped using flint a lot of flint in during times of war. So the Revolutionary War period, a lot of flint glass went away because they needed it for guns. And same thing with the Civil War, a lot of that went away because they needed it for ammunition. So that's flint glass. Now, what is the difference between opaque and opalescent? So opaque, it doesn't reflect or emit light, but it does allow it's not translucent or transparent. So that's more on your opaque side. Opaline, then there's opaline. Opaline is a weird thing. It's also referred to as opal glass. Now, some of this dips into jewelry glass, like glass we see in jewelry pieces. Opaline is also referred to as opal glass. It's mainly green and white, but it can be lots of other colors. I've seen pieces of turquoise and pieces of pink that are in the opaline. It has a matte surface, and it lacks transparency, and it's often gilded and painted. It was really popular in European glass styles, but that's what they do with the opaline glass. And you can't see through this glass. Now, opalescent glass exhibits a milky iridescence like opals. So think Northwood. You know, and that's a good segue because that's what we're doing next week. We're going to do Northwood next week. So think Northwood. Think the Moonstone piece. That's opalescent glass. It has that real fun, iridescent shininess to it, and you can see through a lot of those pieces. Now, opalescent glass was started in the 1870s in England, and it wasn't used in the United States until the end of the century, 1897. There's bouts by Northwood. So those are a few of the things. So if you're listing on eBay,
or if you're buying on eBay,
or if you're buying on eBay,
this will help you better understand why it's listed the way it's listed and how it may be incorrect, but that was the choices the person was given.
Yes. And if you're not meticulous and you don't want to type that stuff in, they just click a box. And this is why it's hard to just, when like Claudia was talking about glass identification, going off just what people put on eBay. Yeah. Because I would say about 70% of the time they're wrong. Right?
Yeah. I was looking up glass birds this morning on eBay, and up came a whole lot of porcelain birds, porcelain swans.
Yeah.
It's just because it's breakable doesn't make it glass, but that's why you just cannot trust what you see on eBay.
Yes.
Unless it's got a sticker on it. If it's got a sticker on it.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean about the glass that turns purple with age. It's usually early American press glass. I have a piece downstairs that when I first started buying and selling, I made the horrible mistake, and I got called out for it, of saying, this is really cool. It's lavender glass, and you never find this. It weren't no lavender glass. It was early American pressed glass at the manganese. It got sunburned. That's what I call it. Glass that gets sunburned.
And experts consider it ruined. And people in the 90s found out it did that and were purposely sticking their glass in the window and turning it purple. And experts consider that ruined glass. I have one piece I found. It's beautiful. It's in my bedroom. I love it. Yep. But the experts consider that ruined glass. You've ruined the glass, but
I like it.
I like it too.
I don't care. I don't care.
Purple's my favorite color, so
I don't care. I have a piece. It's my sugar bowl downstairs. My little sugar packet sitting on my coffee bar, and that's fine. It's mine. Nobody has to buy it. And that's important too when you're collecting glass and buying glass. If you like frosted glass and you know eventually it's gonna maybe wear off a little bit, who cares? If you like the look, pick it up. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
You know? If you like
It's like
flash stained, pick it up.
I collect amber glass. Most people turn their nose up at amber glass, but
Yeah.
I love it, especially that's when you have the amber fairy lamps, which I have 6 amber fairy lamps now. They're the warmest glow.
Yeah, they are.
They're like to actually put real candles in them and use them. That's the best. So
There's a
if
reason why
you
you
like
use
it,
electronics.
it doesn't matter. It does
Yeah.
not matter what it's worth. It does not matter if it's going to get ruined over time if you use it. If you like it, use it. Use the pretty things. Enjoy them. If you can pick them up inexpensively, all the better.
Yes. And there's a reason why they use those amber pieces on the tables in restaurants. It's because of everybody looks good in that light. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone looks good in that
Yeah.
light.
Do you want to go first today or do you want me to?
You go first.
Hi,
That's
Diane.
fine. I don't care. Oh, that's a nice
go.
look. I like that look at Halloween. Yeah. In October and the fall, I love doing that.
All right. So to start us off today, I do have satin glass, and I have satin glass in super pretty colors. So I think that satin glass at Easter and spring is just so pretty. So
It is.
pretty. Just lovely. I love it. So my first piece, I cannot believe that I'm not keeping. I bought it for
I
resale.
know.
It's so beautiful. So I kept it a couple weeks, but
I
it
love it.
is uranium glass. So it has a super lovely glow. It is a satin glass. Now I
I
found
love
one
the
list
shape.
online that said it was Tiffin glass. I did not look through my books to confirm that, but it is one of the elegant glassware companies. And it's nice and clean. No chips, no cracks, and no polishing to the satin at all. It is just gorgeous. So this one, because it is one of the elegant depression glassware companies, and because it is uranium glass, it is $20. $20, number 13.
I agree, Kaz. I love the shape too.
Yeah. It's just super pretty.
It is.
Then my next one is Indiana glass. Oh, it's pink. This shape of the planter, they did this in a lot of, well, this one doesn't have planter pieces. This would be a compote, but they did this in a lot of different colors, a lot of different finishes. And I do think there is a spot, some spots where it's starting to wear. You don't see it when it's sitting like this.
I find it's more common in the pink for some reason. I don't know if that's just because
I
they made
find
more of it.
clear, but I think it's because the clear got used a lot more.
Yeah.
But really pretty detail. We all know Indiana glass. This is a nice size. And it is,
I'm telling you, put some Easter grass and your Cadbury eggs in that.
it's 7.5 inches. See, I said to put your decorated Easter eggs in
Ooh.
it. You still decorate Easter eggs. So put your grass in and then put your actual
Yeah.
eggs in it. Super pretty. No chips or cracks. I just love this color. Look at these colors for Easter. I mean, come on. This
That's
one is going to be $12. $12. Number 5. Indiana glass is not uncommon. Super pretty. Oh, great, Becky. And that was my first 2.
Okay. So I'm thinking you got Connie for number 5. I'm thinking this
Connie.
time around, I kind of got a little bit of the St. Patty's Day going on. It molds into spring very nicely. So that's my theme for today. I actually have a minor theme. So I found this piece. It is all one piece. It is hand blown. It's just interesting and different. I don't think it's super vintage. And I'm calling it a little test tube bud vase. So you get that one flower, like if you go to like Mother's Day and you go out to brunch and they give you like one flower, you put it in one of these. or use it as a little propagation station. So that it has a little fluted kind of top to it. So it doesn't look super test tubey. There's little swirly girls at the bottom there. Stands up really nice, super lightweight, just a neat little piece. I thought it'd be fun. So if you're interested in the little test tube bud vase here, it's going to be just $6, number 74. $6, number 74 for something a little funky. Yeah, I find pink a lot. I don't find the other colors as much, but the satin glass is fun though to touch. Okay. And up next, I've got a piece of green glass. This is the avocado shade of green. I've got a couple different shades of green today. So this is more the avocado style. This is not fused glass, although you'll find it listed sometimes as fused glass. It's not fused glass. It's still a pressed glass. It does have the seams on it. So it's Indiana, and I'm calling it a little basket. It's like a little sunflower, maybe. Maybe you call it a sunflower. There's the pebbly texture here on the bottom, very 3D, but all nice and smooth on the inside. I love the little swoopy, almost swan-like shape of the top here of the handles. Small piece. It's not really tall. It's not really big. Just a neat little piece of Indiana glass. And if you're interested in this piece here, it's going to be $12, number 90. $12, number 90 for the little piece of Indiana floweriness. And those are my two.
All right, my next one, hen on nest. So if you saw my haul slash video, you saw this one. I had no idea this color was harder to find. So I did not know that. It's got, I'm going to show you the chips. So it is not going to be near as much as it usually is. So no chips here, no chips here, no chips where you would have chips sometimes on these, but right there, you can see the chips right here. Now, when it is sitting on the base, you don't see it. The base has no damage to the bead around here. My mom had this in the avocado green when I was growing up, and we broke the top. We broke it. I asked her if she wanted me to replace it because I found one, and she didn't, so I kept it. So I have my own amber and avocado green in my collection, but this lime green, so cool. Hen on nest. And because of the chips, it's only going to be $30, number 12. $30, number 12 on the lime green hen on nest. And I'd shown this one before, and the flowers it had painted on it were in really bad shape. So I washed them off. Now it's blank because the flowers were in terrible shape. So I gently washed them off. And that's the thing about your satin glass. Just be gentle with it. Don't be heavy-handed with it. You don't want to polish it back to clear. So this is the one that has the clear handles, and it was designed that way. Super pretty yellow satin bowl with handles. And this one is $12, number 18. I just think these colors look so pretty together.
I like them all. Yeah.
For Easter.
So I like the yellow and the pink together.
Yeah. Isn't that pretty? So Eastery. And those are my two.
And there's something about that kind of glass, the frosted satin glass, because it usually is a pastel-y kind of shade. Okay. Up next, I've been having a run of luck finding some really interesting glasses the past couple of weeks. So I found these. At first, when I saw them, I was like, oh, are they George Bernard? Because, from a distance, they're not. Yeah. They're Libby. They're Libby.
Yeah,
and
they look really Briard. They look Culver.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. But they're actually Libby. Do they have the L on the bottom? Oh, they do. They have the big old L there on the bottom. I don't know if it's going to show up, but it's there. They are the gold medallion. These are the low ball glasses. So these would be whiskey glasses. It has gold rim around the top. Try to get that to show up. They are in really excellent condition. Even the gold ring around the top. They're a nice little weighted glass. I had a little fun with these. I just love the gold medallion on them. And they stack real nice. So, like I said, short ball glasses, they do. From a distance, they were stacked up like this. I was like, oh, are those dark? Are they Colford? I'm not sure. But they're Libby. They're still really cool. They still go for really nice money, too. But I love them, love them. And if you're interested, they're $12 for the pair, number 89. $12, number 89 on the set of Libby gold medallion. They came in all different sizes. These are just the shorter ones, which would have been my juice glass as a kid. My parents were always giving me juice out of like my dad's old whiskey glasses. Okay, so that's the first one. I didn't know they were whiskey glasses at the time, or lowball glasses. Up next, I've got some recycled glass. Pretty sure it's recycled glass. It's chunky. It's that waffly kind of, you can kind of just see a little bit there through the light. There's no markings on these. I cannot identify them, but I thought they are this awesome emerald green. So
I love that green color.
you can see the difference there. This is like Kelly Emerald. This is Black Dog Vintage Green. There we go. That's what we're going to call it. It's Black Dog Vintage Green. It's really, really, oh, hey, Chicago lady.
Hi, Jeannie.
They actually, to a certain extent, they could look like little leprechaun hats, but I just think they're great little candlestick holders, fabulous for any time of the year because green, along with white and clear, can stand for any holiday. So fun little Kelly green guys here. And if you're interested in the double candlestick holders here, I actually have two this week. $8 for the pair. $8, number 93. $8, number 93 on these guys. And I don't know, they look like little hats. Just get a big kick out of them. Those are my two. John just came home. Ooh.
Those are super pretty. I really like those. Okay, now I have two clear pieces of satin glass. So the first one is this 3-footed bowl. So this would have been one of the Elegant Depression Glassware companies. And it has the painted flowers. And these are in pretty good shape for their age. Here's the bottom. Now, this mark that you can see when it's up against the light, do you see that there? I could not.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a crack. My finger won't go into it. So I'm not sure what that mark is, but I kept the price on this low. So this is a nice size fruit bowl if you wanted to set your grapefruits in it or your apples. And it's just very springy with the pink and the green. It would go well with other satin glass if you're doing a whole Easter display. It's only $10. $10, number 2 on that one. And then this piece has been used. I see this piece all the time in clear glass, but this was the first time I had seen it in the satin glass. So I picked it up. It is not uncommon, and this one has been used. There are utensil marks in here. So it's a little relish dish. It's this size. It's not in the best of shape because it has been used, but this is a piece you could use and not feel bad about. It's only $6 today. $6, number 11. Because it does have, it's not coming across here, but you can see it in person. It does have utensil marks in there. So somebody loved this and used it to serve their pickles or their olives in.
Yes, use the pretties. I'm sorry. John came home and my dogs are going crazy. They haven't stopped. So I'm sorry. It's actually happy news that them barking and they're glad. Nothing like a dog to welcome you home. There really isn't. Wiggle butts and all. Okay, so last week I didn't have any Pilgrim glass, but don't you know I found a piece of Pilgrim glass this week. It is clear glass, but I just feel like this has so much potential. So here is a nice little sticker. It's a different sticker than we're used to seeing with Pilgrim because they usually just have the 2. So I do think this is a relatively newer piece. And it's like a decanter. I think that's really kind of cool. It's super lightweight. This piece of glass is super lightweight. It is hand blown. It's a little swirly down there, but they've a nice polished console, so you can't really see it. And I think, how many of us have stoppers that don't go to anything, that we can't find to go with anything? I think if you put a little stopper in this, a pretty glass stopper, it would make a really neat decanter. It'd also make a really great vase. Saw somebody had listed, put a picture up on Instagram where they had a bunch of clear glass mixed in with their greenery, and I fell in love with it. So yeah, I have a couple of stoppers that I think just might fit in there. That's what I'm saying. So let's see, it is about 10 inches tall, so it would hold water if you wanted to, or sangria, or lemonade, or whatever. And it would make a really, almost bell-shaped. It's kind of what it
Yeah.
reminds me of.
I really
So,
like the shape on that.
yeah, it's neat. And
And I'm
it's
jealous you found pilgrim glass because I couldn't find any.
I've seen it. I've seen it out there. I haven't been able to afford to buy it, but the fact that I found a piece is kind of awesome. So if you're interested in the pilgrim glass sticker, which is kind of, I really wish they put these stickers though on the bottom, because like, if you wanted to do something fun with this, you get this big old sticker kind of in the way. So it'd be $15, number 85. $15, number 85 on this piece. Yeah, like a terrarium. Exactly. Exactly. That's kind of where my mind went with that. All right, so that's the first piece. Let me put it back there. It's super delicate, and last week I almost broke everything. And up next, to stick with my kind of spring is coming, I promise it's coming theme, found a little milk glass planter. This one you could, because of the lip on it, if you were creative enough, you probably could get some macrame or fun wiring to make it a bit of a hanging plant. I think this would be
Oh, yeah,
great
that'd
for
be
anybody,
perfect.
yeah, who's exploring with macrame. I think that'd be really cool. But it's just a simple little milk glass planter. It's not marked or anything on the bottom. It doesn't have a big old number 1 or an I. It's not really marked. It's just a relatively, probably like the florist pieces, like when we talked about E.O. Brody, probably would have had some kind of plant in it, and they would have sent it out that way. So let's see, diameter opening wise, about 3.5 inches. So this will hold. This would be cute for some little herbs that don't like really deep roots. That would be fun for that. It's super clean, ready for your little succulents and cacti and fun plantings. $10, number 73. $10, number 73 for the milk glass planta. Ooh, that would be kind of cool. Yeah, you could make a lamp out of it. I've seen so many funky things what people do with glass, and half the time I'm crying because it's actually really kind of cool glass. And the other half of the time I'm like, yeah, that's actually not a bad idea to do with that kind of glass. Those are mine too.
All right. So, hi, Kathy. I don't know if I said hi to you. And yes, terrarium on that.
Yeah.
And then Becky, congratulations on selling that pilgrim piece.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so my next one's just for fun. It is a little perfume bottle. I saw these listed as 1960s.
That's awesome.
And originally it was orchid perfume. I saw the little orchid transfer sticker on some blue ones and on one that had a different base. So it looks like they made them a little bit different like every year. What I thought was interesting, now this had old perfume caked in the bottom, washed right out. So I did give it a good wash. What I found was interesting was it had, you're never going to be able to see it, but it has this like long ways diamond shape with a circle for the glass company on the bottom. And I was able to figure out that it was the Owens, Illinois glass company and their line of Duraglass that they made for companies. So they also made like 7-Up bottles for 7-Up. So this was Owens, Illinois Duraglass for this little perfume bottle. And I can
It's
show you
so
all
cute.
the pieces. So here's the little lid. I did wash it, but that was as clean as it got. And then here's the top. Now, a bit of the plastic has broken out of the top. And then here's the little bottle. So you can find these listed on eBay as perfume slash dollhouse lamps. Huh. but it's super cute. It's teeny, teeny, tiny. And I picked it up because I love that it had that little symbol on the bottom, and I knew that had to be a company I could identify. It's 3 inches tall. So sure enough, Owens, Illinois Glass Company. It was their Duraglass line. It's only $6. $6, number 15 for the little perfume bottle. It's super cute. And then I'm bringing these back.
We
I
got
did mark them
Roxanne
down a
for
bit.
15.
Oh, thanks, Roxana. Let me write that down. Okay. So if you were here, you've seen these before, but I've marked them down a little bit. I picked these up at the antique store, could not identify who made them, even though they have initials on the bottom. And these are stained glass. So the orange is coming off in spots, and these would have been part of a child's tea set. So these were a child's tea set. So some of the orange is coming off of them. But if you like little miniature things, I love these. They're adorable. And they are now only $10 for both. $10 for both. Number 8. And those are mine too.
Okay, I think this is my final green. Yeah, my final green piece. I had 3 different shades of green. This is the third one. This is
It's so pretty.
It's so unusual. I had to pick it up. It looks like the inside of a shell. It is glass. Now this is sprayed, flashed, stained, however you want to look at it, on the back there. That is stained on the back. It is clear on the front. So there are a few tiny spots of where, I don't know if I'm going to get it to show up. I have a little tiny piece right there where my fingernail is, right there. And that's because it's sitting on a flat surface like this. So if you actually put stuff in on this side, you're not going to have a problem with any wearing. It is a really neat iridescent glow to it. It's kind of like a seafoam green or a sagey green, celery green. I love this piece. Very abstract and unusual. And if you're interested in my oyster plate, oh, Kaz, did you want to know a number
Yeah,
on
I
something?
missed that. She did say what number. I see it now, but I had missed it. So I think it was on your white.
Oh, the white piece?
Yeah.
Kaz, if you're interested, it's $10, number 73. Number 73 for the milk glass piece. Okay. So if you're interested in the oyster dish, the glass oyster dish, which I just think it's so pretty, it's going to be $18, number 87. $18, number 87 on that baby there.
Hi, Bridget.
Hey, Bridget. And the planter. Do you want the planter? If you want the planter, it's yours, darling. If you want it, it's yours. This is one of my absolute favorite pieces, and I'm not sure if this is cased or frosted or what the deal is, because it's Bartlett Collins. Let's start with that. It's Bartlett Collins. It is from their Birds of a Feather line, and it came with the pitcher, and it would have juice glasses. So you would put like your juice or your milk in here for the morning, put this down, and sent everybody off with a lovely canary, cardinal, and bluebird for the morning. So this is painted on the top here. It has a really great 3D effect. Ooh, you're expecting new succulents. Ooh. Clear handle. Now the inside is the bit that seems to be like frosted.
That's fired on. It's fired on.
Okay, that's the inside of this one. Outside is clear. So this one tripped me up a little bit. I got to be honest. It is a molded piece. It do have seams here, but this is not an easy to find piece. There's not a lot of these out there. It was listed. I found a few more. Well, thank you, Bridget. I found a few more since I've originally picked this piece up, but it makes me happy.
I love this one.
It makes me happy. I mean, think of it. You can use it as a picture because it does have the really nice, it does have a little dollop. And I did not work to get this off because I'm terrified that, you know what, whoever decides to adopt this piece can work to get the little dauber of paint off there. I don't want to break it. So, okay.
Hi,
so Kaz, hey, Kaz, I will send you the planter is yours if you want it. So Birds of a Feather, a planter here. I would use it as a vase. I think it looked really pretty with some irises and some daffodils in it, just for that time of the year when it finally comes and they don't die. So 8 inches tall, or use it for your iced tea and lemonade. Why not? How fun and fun. So I gave a really good price for this. Really, really, really good price. So if you're interested, it's just $25, number 75. 25, you do that, darling. $25, number 75 on that piece right there. And those are my two. It is a nice lip.
Yeah,
Don't give
I
me lip.
love that picture. I love the birds on it. It is everything spring. Love it. All right, my next item, something else I've shown before. Marked it down a bit. This is the Jim Beam decanter. I think Delbert bought the other one. I had 2 of them. And it is slag glass, so it gives you a nice marbled effect throughout the piece. It's super pretty. This was their discus decanter. So Jim Beam discus decanter. And it's still got its cork, so it does fit securely. There's the inside. I gave it a good clean when I bought it last summer. Oh, and it's just been hanging out here. And now it is only $10. $10 or more. Now this is a tall piece, so keep that in mind. It's a tall piece. $10, number 1 on that one. And then my very last piece today, the Federal Glass.
Ooh.
I love the way that they did this. So it looks fancy. Now, it's probably technically amber, but it is more a yellow amber than a deep amber. So I don't see any chips or cracks. It is 7 inches across, and it does have a nice little shape to it. But I think the fruit on the bottom is so pretty. So you've got a pear, got grapes, you've got plums, a peach, I'm not sure, but fruit on the bottom, just pretty. Another nice spring piece. And it is going to be $10, number 9. $10, number 9. And those are my 2.
I love that. Yeah, I do think it looks kind of like a sunflower. And it is much more yellow than amber. I agree. Okay, so opalescent, moonstone. I have one of these left. This is, I kept it. I was using it, but now I'm going to pass it along. Depression glass. It is the Depression era. It does have straw marks on it, but it is a really pretty piece. I had some little stones and a little Valentine's Wade Winsey in it. It looks really cute. So
and these
are
were
not
only made for a short amount of time.
Yes.
And we are bordering on antique with these.
This one, yes. Yes. 5.5 inches. I've only ever had the berry bowls. I've never found some of the bigger, more grandiose pieces of the moonstone, but you can see there that nice
I
little
had one of the divided dishes.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh. And it's easy to confuse these because Avon made some like this too in the bottles, and so did Fenton.
And if you go on eBay, these get marked as Fenton a lot, and they are not Fenton.
This is not Fenton. No, I can't remember who did the moon. I want to say it was Jeanette, but I could be totally wrong. I don't have.
I've got it in my book
in front of me right now. Lonnie will tell you who it is. I wish I could remember. Oh, baby Jeanette. Hey Danielle, how are ya? And hello, Kathy. I didn't get to say hi to you. But really pretty. And then a couple different companies did make them. Like I said, Avon made some perfume bottles. Fenton did make some in this. This is not a Fenton piece, even though it has the hobnails. This is Depression glass, moonstone.
It was Anchor Hawking.
Oh, I got fooled. I don't know why I thought it was Jeanette. That's all right. Anchor Hawking. There we go. Anchor Hawking, moonstone. There's Claudia in the little corner right there. So if you're interested in this cute little piece, it's going to be $8 and number 91. $8, number 91. This is another piece that just kind of carries through every season.
And it
I
was
like
only
that.
produced for 5 years.
Yeah, it was a tiny, short lifespan. And I don't come across it all that often. Okay, my last piece, told you guys I had a run on
Yeah.
Costa Boda. This is my last piece of Costa Boda. This is a smaller piece. So this is a littler guy. He's a tiny guy. There he is, a little tea-light guy. It's like the last vestiges of winter hanging on right now for all of us out
That one
there.
looks smaller than mine.
It's tiny. This guy's a tiny guy. Yeah. But how big is he? Let's see. He's a diameter kind of guy. He's like 2.5, 2.25 inches. Yeah, he's just a 2-inch guy. So he's one of the smaller Costa Boda pieces. The other two I have are much bigger. He does have his little stamper right down there on the bottom. Hello. So if you're interested in the mini version, oh, and it has its sticker as well. So it's like completely labeled up. So it's got a sticker, it's got its acid etching there on the bottom. So it's all intact. If you're interested in this piece right here, it's going to be $10, number 78. $10, number 78 on that guy. And those are my two.
And was there anybody that came in later that wanted us to do a recap of items from the beginning? Just let me know, because I know we had quite a few people come in a little bit later.
That is cool. I hope everybody has a lovely, safe, if you're on the West Coast, if you're on the East Coast, y'all be safe. I know the West Coast people are going through some stuff.
Yeah.
There's a river in the sky, something I've never heard of before. I'd never heard it put that way before. There's a river in the
Oh,
sky.
I missed that.
Yeah, it's some like weird weather phenomenon thing that it's like they refer to it as a river, so it's kind of weird. And then a nor'easter here in the East Coast. Yay.
You've got Roxanne for number 78.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh, the Jim Beam bottle again for
Sure.
Dan.
Yeah. Bumping stuff. Here is the decanter. That's
These
one
are
side.
gorgeous in person, by the
Oh
way.
yeah, they're
They
so
are.
they look like marble. And I know they're worth more if they still have their labels on them.
Yeah.
This one, neither of the ones I picked up had their labels on them. I think for just a pretty piece of glass, it's.
I don't even think mine has it. I have one too. I don't even think mine has a label on it. Yeah.
And that was $10, number one on the Jim Beam decanter. Jim Beam bottle.
Oh, she would like that, please. They are really cool.
Awesome. All right, I've got that down. So next week we will be talking about Northwood glass, which is antique glass, right?
Yeah, it's antique.
Northwood.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about an antique glass company. Once a month, we will be answering your glass questions to the best of our ability. So if you have, yes, I do.
Yes, she does.
It is,
I think yours is a little bit bigger than mine.
Mine does not have its sticker. It is Costa, but it's the Costa Boda Snowball. It weighs 1 pound and 12 ounces just by itself. So let me look up the price.
My Igloo one weighs about well over a pound. I can't believe how chunky and monkey they really, really are.
The Costa Boda is $12. I had it in my
yeah, because yours is bigger. Mine was small.
Display.
Yeah, mine was small.
Yep. So $12 if you want it. Just let me know. Oh, I can't hold it up. It's heavy.
Yeah.
So this week I don't have any extra sales. I just have coffee chat and a small sale on Wednesday. And I'm going to have those pieces that I showed that are the
Occupied Japan
made in
pieces.
Occupied Japan pieces. So I will have those up.
Got you, Brenda. Yeah.
I will have those up for sale on that sale. And then Nikki has Whatnot this week.
Yes, I do. I'm doing a small sale. So smalls, not a small sale. Smalls. Got a whole bunch of them. I've got some fun pieces for Easter, lots of little figurines and stuff like that. So that's Thursday, every Thursday night, 7 p.m. on that one. So I hope you guys join me over there for my small sales. And yes, Brenda, I got you. Thank you very much.
And Roxanne, I got you on the Costa Boda. Thank you.
Oh, so that'll be fun. I found a cracked out bunny and another bunny that I got to post later on that I swear to God, it looks like a chocolate bunny wrapped in foil and painted. I've never seen anything like it, so it's interesting. So, and Occupy Japan pieces, love those.
Yeah, me too.
Love those.
John Robert wants to know how wide across your candle.
The green saucer. Yeah. They're not super wide across. Let's see. These guys here are 3.5 inches. 3.5 inches. I'll put them next to my head. Maybe that helps. On these guys. My flying saucers. Yeah.
I was saying with our answer where we answer your questions, we're going to do that once a month, about mid-month, every month. So if you ask your questions here, we'll jot them down. If you email them to us, if you message us on Instagram, we will try to answer your questions. Sometimes even the experts don't know.
This is true.
Because molds were bought by so many different companies, because designs were stolen, because the glass artists were lured from one company to another. Sometimes you cannot tell.
They were sold off when the company got sold off. Yep. That happened when we were talking about the glass last week. They sold off the stuff. So and then you have people who are remaking molds. I have a Fenton mold fairy lamp that wasn't made by Fenton. That is uranium glass, which would have fooled anybody. So it's one of those pieces. So yeah.
Yeah, and then you have companies like Blanco who are still producing. Yeah. You've got new people experimenting with uranium glass. So used to be found uranium glass, you knew what time period it came. No, now there are new glass artists making uranium glass pieces right now, which are still cool to have, but yeah, you can't.
I own 2 pieces. I have a little baby skull that I got from Barbie, and I got an arrowhead that I got from Becky. So sometimes the glass itself is old because they're recycling the glass, which is cool. It's just not from that time period. I don't think they had
because I've got that lady I bought the earrings from last year who takes broken pieces of glass and makes earrings out of them. So I've got jadeite earrings that glow because she took a broken bowl and made earrings out of them. So lots of cool stuff everywhere. We just love to talk about glass.
Yes, we do. And that's okay.
All right. I think that's all we've got for today. So we'll see you in the chats, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Have a good week.